All right, so we're actually not looking at a motorcycle right now because I just got in this interesting contraption, which is supposed to be a tire machine. So I'm actually going to try this thing. Now I've seen a couple of versions of this. You can see this is a KA Tools KT1030. I've seen a little bit bigger version of this as well. I think was a 2002, I think. Anyway, I might have to mute some of the audio on this. I think I have my compressor on yet, because the compressor is pretty loud and I'm only using the little pancake on this thing. So that means she's probably not, she's gonna run for sure. Put it that way. Alright, so I got a little tire. Opel GT tire. I know this, you can see the beads already kind of broken on it, but we're gonna do it anyway, just to show you what it does. All right. All right, then in theory, we Oh my, that's loud. Okay, as you can see, it did both take that tire off and put it on. See the action there with the piston, where it does double duty, and then you can ratchet this around to the next position, and the next time it goes, and then this catches your rim. So that's an old Opel GT wheel and tire. Tire's ruined anyway, but it took it off and put it back on, seemingly without too much trouble. But it's not very stable. As you can see, it's dependent upon this little kickstand here to hold itself stable, and it's really not doing the job. So I'm going to have to come up with something a little bit more sturdy for it. I built this little pallet with a plywood on the top of it, so I could move it around and drag it outside if I needed to do a bigger wheel. But handles these little Opel GT's wheels pretty well. But like I say, you can already see it's starting to lean a little bit. I don't know if that's just because it's slid up a little bit. The support looks like it maybe has slid up a little bit. But yeah, so not the most stable thing in the world. I'm going to have to come up with something a little bit better. But it does do the work. Mounted the tire, dismounted the tire, and then remounted the tire. So I don't have a new tire. So this tire is probably easier and a little bit more pliable than a brand new one. But okay, so my thoughts on this thing. So it's functional. It does change the tire, as you saw. It did both remove the tire from the rim and put the tire back on. But she's not super stable. You can see this little kickstand thing down here at my foot there. That's supposed to hold it upright, but it just starts sliding up. I think it just started working its way up from the bottom as it was moving around, and it became less and less stable. So it needs some other way to secure it. Other than that, I'll probably come up with something to brace that. But it does do the job. It uses a ton of air, so the little pancake job under the bench is not really the right tool for the job. It did work. I was able to remove that tire and put it back on. So it's functional, but it's I think the bigger ones I've seen, like the 2002 model, it actually has more framework to it and is actually more stable than this. But this just has this little cheap little kickstand deal to keep it from leaning in that direction, and it's not enough. It doesn't do the job. So I'll have to do something to either pin that in place so that it can't move or slide around, or I'm going to come up with a whole nother arrangement to mount it. But it does seem to work. Don't know if I'm going to be able to make this work for motorcycle tire. Probably not. Probably won't try. I'll probably just end up buying one of those manual motorcycle tire changer jobs that I've seen listed on about the same price on eBay, about $300 or so, maybe a little less than I paid for this, but also manual, not air powered like this one is. But it does seem to do the job. Probably a good purchase. Just needs some modifications. I did do one modification where I put a more serviceable air fitting on it. And I'm not sure why, but I had to actually take the air fitting down to the lathe and reprofile the thing a little bit for it to actually work with my air hoses. So I don't know why they're slightly different now, but I had to do that just to get the airline to work. So maybe they're trying to make all our old hoses obsolete, so we all have to buy new ones. So I'll show them I've got a lathe. So my final thoughts on the tire machine. Seems to be functional, but also seems to be not super stable. This little kickstand job at the bottom It seems to move around a lot. It seems to be sliding up the post and coming out of position, so it has made it pretty unstable. So I'm gonna have to do something different with it in order to make it stable. But other than that, it does seem like it does the job. But I think this sort of maybe baby brother to the ones that I've seen so often on YouTube, where they have a little bit more framework to it. Those are probably a better buy, maybe because they are already a little bit more stable than this. But I'm sure I can stabilize this and make it work.